We're providing support to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom. Military assistance, economic assistance, humanitarian assistance. We're giving more than $1 billion of direct assistance to Ukraine, and will continue to aid the Ukrainian people as they defend their country and help ease their suffering.
President Biden pledging continued support for Ukraine during last night's State of the Union address. And today, the House of Representatives passed a resolution declaring support for the sovereignty of Ukraine in the face of Russian aggression. It's non-binding, but it did call for the U.S. and allies to give immediate defensive security help to the Ukrainian resistance. Ukraine is asking for assistance at this very moment. They say it cannot come fast enough. It says more than 2,000 Ukrainian civilians have been killed already. Russia still rejects the term war. They call this whole thing a military operation. But consider this right here. Today, Russia admitted 498 Russian military personnel have been killed, nearly 1,600 injured. More than 800,000 refugees have fled the country, according to the UN. And American officials claim there's disturbing evidence the violence and bloodshed could get worse.
We've seen videos of Russian forces moving exceptionally lethal weaponry into Ukraine, which has no place on the battlefield. That includes cluster munitions and vacuum bombs, which are banned under the Geneva Convention.
Daniel Davis is back with me tonight. He's a retired lieutenant colonel with the U.S. Army and a senior fellow and military expert with Defense Priorities. Colonel, you have been warning us about the vulnerability and the importance of port cities in the south of Ukraine for about a week now. Kherson seems to be controlled by Russia, according to most reports, on the Black Sea. What is the significance?
Yeah, the significance is that every time you lose one of these cities, and especially Mariupol, which was apparently officially surrounded today, and it's probably just a matter of time, possibly within 24 hours, that city will also fall to the Russian forces. And the problem is not merely just the city, but it's the fact that the Russians are capturing large numbers of Ukrainian military inside of a cauldron. And, you know, aside from obviously bad for the Ukrainians in the area, it also means that they're not available to go elsewhere. So the Russian forces, once they consolidate these gains that they've made here, will now be able to turn their forces away from the coast up towards either Kharkov in the north or Kiev in the north, the northwest, or possibly one and then the other. So the screws are tightening, and it's closing in on Kiev. That's the bottom line.
Let me ask you about other next steps. The president of Belarus was lecturing officials in his country about this war, and he had this giant map behind him, and it was released by state media, the picture. It showed what seems to be an as-yet unexecuted invasion of Moldova, if you look closely. But here's the thing, Colonel. He knew the cameras were there. They know about, you can use this for disinformation. He has this big old pointer in his hand. Do you buy this, that he unintentionally revealed this?
Definitely not unintentionally. I mean, nobody can put something like that out in public and think that it's not going to be seen. And I think that probably this was the original plan, and certainly most of the axes that were depicted there have in fact come to pass. The one that hasn't is the one towards Odessa and then into Moldova after that. And I got to think that probably Putin would very much have liked to go taken that path, because it would have sealed off Ukraine from the Black Sea. And that section of Moldova there is an exceptionally high number of Russian speakers and Russian people who say they're citizens. So it would be a very friendly population. But because of the missteps that Russia had at the beginning and the casualties they've already taken, I'm not sure he now has the ability to go that far, because it would cost a lot to invest Odessa, which he has not done yet. So it could just be a disinformation thing to make Ukraine say, let's put more troops down there to defend against this is coming, when really he has no intention of doing that. That ties up troops that could otherwise help in Kiev.
Gotcha. That map would be marked version 1. Got it. So Russia had what President Biden called yesterday this war fund, massive billions of dollars all stored up. But now money is ceasing, right? Can it afford a protracted war?
Certainly I think that probably was a big surprise to Putin. I think he did count on having those reserves available. But we got to understand that, number one, Russia has a long time, and I'm talking about the Russian population over centuries, kind of have this mentality that they can endure large problems and setbacks and suffering. I mean, they're just mentally accustomed to that. So it's a lot different than many Western countries. And so I think that they're going to be able to weather this because they have other options. They didn't put all their eggs in one basket, so to speak. So it'll hurt and it'll make a problem, but I don't think it's going to keep them from succeeding on the battlefield anytime soon.
Okay. Let's look for any bright signs here. President Zelensky is engaged in peace talks right now via delegation. It's coming up again tomorrow. Putin's intentions aren't exactly clear why he's sending his team, but could the U.S. or allies help Zelensky cut a deal?
I think that they can, and I think that's what I would advocate, because I think that the best thing we can do for Ukraine right now is to do everything possible to stop the killing, to stop the shelling of the cities and the destruction of things that many of which can never be replaced. And I'll just tell you, to answer your question there a second ago, Putin has motivation to get this thing ended as possible. He does not need to go, in fact, doesn't even want to conquer Ukraine and possess it, because that would be a bridge too far. He actually can't do that. So he has motivation. Zelensky can use that to his advantage to negotiate it into this to the combat, so that then over time he can also negotiate maybe to get back some of the territory that may already have been lost. But the first objective, I think, is to have a ceasefire. And for the West, the huge important thing is to make sure this stays contained within Ukraine. It does not expand out and accelerate, where you have the risk of West and East having a war.
Okay. Final question here, Colonel. Putin has made some, people call it serious miscalculations here. Marco Rubio's out there speculating on his rationality, his connection to reality. Is there anyone around Vladimir Putin who can tell him, sir, no, just no?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that can tell him no, but there definitely are some people who can give him advice that he doesn't want to hear, perhaps, and then it's up to him whether he's going to listen to it or not. But I frankly think that people are making too much out of this, because I think the implication being, well, if he's this crazy person, he may miscalculate and maybe not even succeed, or some are even suggesting a regime change or a coup from within. I don't think any of that stuff is happening. And I think that people have to understand, this is war. Things happen the way you didn't expect them. There's setbacks, there's unexpected opportunities. And this thing is just playing out, and it's never going to be smooth and easy. And you can expect Russia to have some serious hits on this.
Retired Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, as always, your analysis, very much appreciated. Thank you, sir.